Wow, what a start for attacking Seoul Esports. I'm joined by their coach, Ego. Ego, it is your first win here on the international stage, first map win. How did your boys do it? How did they achieve this win?
I think it just simply goes like everything is working, like our teamwork, our communicate, everything's working. I know you mean, you cannot stop us on the heaven. Yeah. You can.
I mean, you proved it. Well, let's see if they can get China's their first win here.
Yeah, that's what we're all excited for, Yinsu, and it was great to hear from Ego. I just love hearing from that guy because he has the best lines ever. But also, I think that they were having fun. Everything was working. Everything was clicking.
It really was. This wasn't just a win, but it was a fairly dominant one. FUT managed to rally back and get a few rounds at the end there, but ASE built so much momentum in the early part of that game. On their defensive side, their retakes were looking incredible, and they converted that into the second half as well.
I think there's something that they were trying to do against DRX, but couldn't actually commit to is, you know, they're getting the first kills time and time again and trying to break and destroy the mental of the other team, forcing them to play into your games.
Yeah, and they absolutely did that. And I think the round that impressed me the most, where I was like, wow, this team is actually really, really good. They have a lot of cool ideas that they're bringing in on this map, was when they executed that round 14, when they forced up after just barely losing the pistol and managed to win that one out. This is a strat that a lot of top teams are running. I think the first team I saw do it was DRX, where they have this idea of pushing through and actually pinching onto the C site with the Jet pathing alone through B. It's really cool, and they executed it almost perfectly. And that's exactly what Ego was saying. Their preset ideas were just working in this map.
Everything has been clicking for ASE, whereas on the other side for FUT, it simply just hasn't. And you expect a little bit more out of a team that had so much hype coming out of that EMEA region. But again, they're kind of running into this brick wall of ASE.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also fairly complicated to turn things around after having such a difficult first half in which you were not able to find what you expected, where your fights were not going your way, where you were just falling short. It looked like the communication was not there, the position, the movement, the awareness of the map, the camaraderie, you know, from the players was not there.
But from the other side, you just saw ASE up there on stage having fun. It was clear that the pressure of being here in an elimination match wasn't getting to them. Instead, they were just chilling out. They were playing well on the stage. They were up there with their friends, and they made it happen. But there is still a series to play here.
That's right. We're going to Ascent for map number 2. Now, obviously, in the past, it's always been known that Turkish teams like Ascent, but honestly, with this particular FUT lineup, it's not necessarily the case. Yes, Ascent is a good map, and everyone does know it very, very well. But this is ASE's pick here. This is them really looking to, I guess, put a stamp on this series here and now, Kakuka, which would be quite problematic for the EMEA region, but would be an absolute boost to the Chinese Valorant community.
Yeah, totally. Of course, Ascent, let's say, is the easiest map to understand. Rotations work fairly easily, but I do think that it has to do a lot with how your Jet is feeling on that day. We know that Life is having a game of a lifetime. On the other side, we see Kiwi that's not finding what he's looking for in the server.
And I think that from both these teams, we've seen them do well with their initial ideas, the simpler executes. But what I'm looking for here is depth from both these teams, having the second layer to these executes, being able to find that pivot in the mid round, which FUT was really struggling with.
Yeah, well, let's actually see if we can get some insight into what's going on in the FUT camp and send it right over to Yinsu, who's got guys standing by.
We're joined now by Gaius, the head coach of FUT, and Scala here is going to help me translate. It wasn't an easy start, but you can come back on the next map. What do you need to see your boys do to make sure that you do win the next very important map?
Sizin için çok iyi bir başlangıç değildi ama tabii ki geri dönüş yapabilirsiniz. İkinci maçı kazanmak için oyuncularının ne yapmasını görmek istersin?
Sadece EMEA'da nasıl oynuyorsak o şekilde oynamamız gerekiyor. Yani bu da şu demek, takım olarak bir yerlere geldik, takım olarak oyun oynamamız lazım. Başka bir açıklamam yok.
We have to do whatever we were doing in the EMEA League, so which means that, I mean, we came here as a team, we have to play as a team, and there's not much else to say about that.
We believe in you, we believe in you. Thank you very much for joining me, and let's see if FUT can make that comeback.
I mean, you know, the coach is right. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But the reality of the situation is this team needs to find some kind of solution to stop attacking Seoul.
They will. And, I mean, in that interview, guys looked worried, to be honest. There's
a
lot of pressure on this team. They're only the second all-Turkish team to make it to an international event. They are trying to find for Turkey that first win and for themselves maybe a chance to run through with this one, make it out of the group stage. But they now face up against an ASE who I think is looking in their strongest form.
And you have such a short time to address everything that happened on that map with your players, how things are going to be different. You have to discuss tendencies and a plan of action to what is happening, or you're going home.
All right, well, Prime Gaming Agent Select is right in front of you. And, you know, again, not really expecting all that much change when it comes to the compositions, Mimi. It's just about how you execute.
It absolutely is. And it's always the classic thing to talk about when you see Ascent. But I think we need to see a step up from the Jet players, specifically from FUT. Kiwi has been struggling thus far this tournament. Didn't do too hot versus UG. Wasn't able to find his normal value on Haven either. But normally on Ascent, he is a beast. They're starting on the defensive side. The stronger side, it feels like a perfect storm to rally if you are FUT.
A very easy choice when they were presented with this option. Is it going to be defense? Of course it's going to be. My eyes are on cracks. His utility usage needs to be on point. They need to be way more reactive, knowing that ASE is going to be very dominant on those attacks.
Well, we want to see a third map, but I don't know if we're going to get it. Let's send it over to Doug and Bala for the cast.
Thank you, Golden Boy. It's a big ask for FUT, but they have to convert on Ascent Bala because they find themselves with backs against the ropes.
Yeah, and this is a place where FUT, I mean, they've changed up some things, especially with Ada Captain coming in as their starter. And it's been a while. I mean, they played it a lot since then, too, and they've gone towards a more standard composition. I'm really interested to see if they can bounce back after that really, really ugly start. In my mind, it looked like they didn't show up on the server, but they did start to get a little comeback going at the end.
They did. I still think, though, in face of what we just saw take place, you ask yourself, if you're the coach, I mean, what do you say?
Yeah.
Right?
I was wondering.
You almost have to go, like, forget it, right? Like, GG, go next.
Trying to read into Gaius during that interview between maps.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell whether he was mad or whether he was trying to find ways to stay positive. I think I lean more towards the mad side. And I think as looking at that game from the outside in, I think you have to be mad. How can you energize the team, though? That's the big question. Dashing forward, life is immediately, and there's the first entry from Krags.
Right into the next round. Kiwis here, drop both Jets down. Mr. Fallen's 15 HP, clinging on to dear life.
And they don't get in.
No.
They try to inject some speed, but they don't get in. Flashed used again. Really concern on FUT. However, this map is a good second map after losing in a pretty horrendous way, despite the scoreline, because you can get this streak on defense.
Right.
This is a map where momentum can shift very, very easily. Right here. And it might be what FUT need. Because right now, they stand to be the first team to lose to a Chinese team on the international stage. And also to fail for their country, which they haven't produced a team capable of competing at these global events since 2021. Until now. Or at least we thought.
Chance is still there. The three remaining members of ASE are trying to find their way into A, and that's going to help. Maj down. What? They're going to get another? They're both just so weak, though.
One enemy remaining.
Surely they don't pull off some heroics like this. HFMI with nothing but 6 HP tries to swing out. Ada Captain gets 3.
Biggest problem there is they tried to go 2 up close gen and 1 player taking a route over towards the right side of sight, and that would clear out the site. That's why they get 2 kills. But unfortunately leaves the spike stranded. Sitting out in the open. So the 2 players remaining in gen have to make a play out of it. It's way too hard. Love the smoke from Bunt as well. Bunt was, in my mind, even though I saw Monk at the top of the leaderboard in the last game, Bunt was really making plays left and right. Some key rounds that FUT had chances to win. He shut down.
Agreed. Bunt was very good.
Capitalized on a lot of the mistakes out of FUT side.
I did like this out of them at the opening of the round. They throw a nano to clear some space B, make sure there's no one pushing up, and they get the alarm brought down. Meanwhile, Kiwi applying pressure on the opposite side of the map.
Big pick. Cover going out. Now Yishen early. Not that there was much for Yishen.
He smoked off the alarm bot.
Well, they smoked it anyways. Talked about that deep one.
Yeah.
It's very easy to hear, very easy to spot that that is getting put down, so you have to consider the fact that ASE have options to fight through it.
Dart not tagging anyone. Kiwi looking for a little bit of extra damage with the Marshall 3. Not landing the 4th, but it's a Prime Gaming flawless anyway.
When you think about the clean rounds, they have not come through for FUT.
No.
At all in this series so far. There's the first. I know it's just an anti-eco, but they're so important. I spoke about this map being a place where they can start to get these streaks going. Kiwi is one of those guys who must get going. You're not asking for one of those legendary 30-bomb performances or anything from him. You're just asking for him to lead the team here. Might be a shark attack. Flash over top, second flash paranoia through. He's going deep for it, but nobody here from ASE to receive, and they might speed up into A because of it.
It's interesting too, is ASE were playing further back than they normally would right off the bat. It's like they were expecting it. They knew there was a possibility for it, and they play around it.
For a second, like the FUT players might want to flood against this reaction into this A side. Instead, it'll be a full 5v5 retake with poor weaponry on the side of.
Oh. Shock dart and a nano.
Insta-kill on that. That's beautiful stuff.
No flank, it's just gonna be from heaven and from tree. ASE with site control for now.
Wow.
That knife is big. ASE not able to hold the site. We may have another bonus on our hands. This would have to be huge out of Bunt and Monk. And it's all just on to Bunt now. It's the Diffuser's already gotten half. They swing out on the turret. Bunt gets another, but that's a bonus. FUT with a big lead here.
That's very nice stuff. And that retake, I mean, how do you hold on if you're ASE? Not only do you lose the planter after the spike gets planted, so there's that, but then you have the space-breaking TP in from Ada Captain. Really, really nice stuff. Gotta commend that Yuto combo. Guys talked about playing as a team, doing the things that were done at EMEA, and that's, I mean, that's straight out of the Fnatic playbook. That sort of style of retake, lovely stuff out of FUT.
Both knives used right off the bat. Mid and market cleared. Oof. Kiwi taking a lot of damage through the spam.
ASE do have another significant buy here. So dangerous round still. These deep alarm bots are so nice out of Maj.
Great.
That's a Sentinel who really relies on his aim and his fragging ability and not necessarily setups with his team. And he does lose. Ada Captain is playing close. His job was to hold against him.
Had a chance at it there. Remember, Kiwi at the beginning of the round took some spam damage. Now down to 12 HP, no armor. Trying to find a cheeky angle to get a kill. But there's just nothing materializing, at least not yet.
These pivots are great out of Attacking Soul. They got a 2-2 split going, and HFMI is going to go on the lurk.
Question is, how patient is Kiwi? Wow. And yeah, there wasn't much health to him, but a great response from HFMI into it. Meanwhile, Crack's playing in the smoke. The swing out is there! He gets two! FUT's defense is scattered. They're still 1A, leaving Mr. Fallen on site by himself, and he cannot hold them back.
HFMI could get the info of where he's coming from, too. They worked the map beautifully in that one.
A 1v3 necessary for Maj to pull this round out. Consideration of time and HFMI's positioning evident. And the possibility for more, but the swing out for Monk is just too good. Very well done. Off of that, ASE get the round. They have a couple of ults close online too. Man, Cracks eating up the damage he was looking for peeking out of that smoke. But it still just wasn't enough.
I was thinking a lot how these two teams could end up matching up. Specifically thinking about the experience in moments like this, elimination. FUT Obviously played it lock-in. ASE is one of the few teams at this team who did not. The only team. So you're thinking they could just be as streaky, and Kiwi with the first entry again. They're gonna put pressure on this B side. It worked last time.
Life is going up into spawn again.
Good KO to respond. They fall all the way back.
Monk is gonna try to do some of the same. It was a counter punch. The left and the right. It was Life. It was Monk.
All the way through spawn. Are you kidding me? And the chase is on. They might be able to peek spawn before they get up this ramp.
HFMI with the op.
I mean, he's holding a great angle to actually prevent them. Ada Captain's in for a world of hurt, but he needs to make heroic plays here because HFMI has cut off the rotates.
The one benefit is maybe you don't consider his position. Now spotted. And Paranoia is going to hit both. But it's a great response from ASE. That was so well done, and that's like that flavor, that brand of ASE Valorant that everyone was excited to see, right? Life pushing up mid, Monk pushing through spawn at B, crunching spawn.
It reminds me of some of those early HyperX games where they found success at Copenhagen.
Yep.
Where it's just like, you never expect these sort of lurk timings.
One enemy remaining.
And the sort of adaptations that you can make off of them. Life finding a gap, Monk finding a gap. We saw Monk with huge success on that attacking side against them on Haven. Things starting to spiral for FUT here.
They're keeping the attack side up.
Oh! TP up forward with the flash to cover and doesn't find anything, but there was definitely an opportunity.
Yeah, there was.
It's a nice little play. Seen it quite a bit in EMEA for them.
Even looking for an opportunity here, getting one. But once again, Monk's timing is flawless.
It's the same engagement that happened in the last round.
Yeah.
Kiwi against each end.
A pause on the round. You see Life still with the op. Still with 4 members up and 4 ults to their name.
Recalling my boss.
Any round that you can get, this is an anti-eco for ASE, but you've got to secure this sort of thing when you're playing on this attack side.
You should run.
And they will invest the lockdown. They're out with it, though.
Mr. Fallen now cleared in hell. He's still causing problems! How does he get 3? The 4th available and the 4th delivered.
Nasty stuff. So not only do ASE invest the lockdown in that, but they lose in the light buy situation to them dealing as an anti-eco.
I mean, you were just saying, too, they needed to convert that. Given the side that they're on, they've got to get through those cleanly.
That's the overconfidence that can stem from inexperience. Right there. You just wait for the lockdown. And all of a sudden, all you have to deal with is Mr. Fallen. Instead, you have a player coming through tree at the same time. Fast play with the own null command.
They're not slowing it down at all. Life falls. Monk does too. Kiwi still playing up close and personal. Not able to get away, but Mr. Fallen's the support.
Down B.
He's the help, and that was a fast one. As Ishan's the only one that remains. Wow.
Sitting duck in the final moments.
Need a draw.
5-2 now for FUT. This is definitely a good start. And rounds like that again. I mean, investing ults, going for fast plays. If you shut those down, what more tools do ASE have? That was the big issue in their game against DRX, was running out of ideas. The attacking side of Ascent is somewhere where that can become evident very fast. The most success you're seeing where it's consistent value is these ideas where you go for the lurks from Monk. And yet opting not to continue in that style. Opting to throw in wrenches. And we'll have a timeout from ASE.
Which, remind me, I don't think they called one on Haven, did they?
So, yeah, no.
Yeah, there was just one, and I believe it was FUT's. So for the first time this series, ASE find themselves in a position where they need to throw brakes on things and recollect.
Remember, it was that defensive side that they started on Haven where they got the 9-3 in the first place. Their attacking side did end up showing a few holes.
Yep.
And again, I think a lot of that stemmed from the situation at hand, realizing, okay, FUT didn't show up in that first half. And then they started disrespecting them a little bit.
Yeah, a little more loose, a little more swagger.
And trying to punish, trying to end the game with, not style, but speed. Going on. All right, they forced into it, for example, after losing the pistol. That was successful, but then they started throwing in fast rounds. You're seeing the same sort of signs here on this Ascent.
And to go back to the roles you said they saw on their attacking side on A, you expect to see more of those here on Ascent. Question is, how much of that can they mitigate?
Reclear from FUT, coming in towards short. HFMI is exploring alone. Have to say, FUT are winning consistently these first engagements.
Yeah, they are. Which is just such a difference from what we saw in the previous map.
Yeah, ASE had chances and things to look out to fight for those first engagements. Remember, they were really taking it to Mr. Fallen on that C side.
They invested so much utility to try to clear Monk there. Shock Dart, a Paranoia.
I'm typically okay with that on the anti-eco.
Yeah.
Because you have a wealth of utility in comparison to the other side. But in this case, actually, there's a lot of saved util from the prior rounds. So Bunt still has his flash. You have 2 smokes. You have a smoke from Life 2. All the util out of the KO.
FUT's here. They have 3. One of them is so weak. I mean, both of them have taken a considerable amount of damage. This is far from done. He's going to be able to upgrade a weapon. Get the plant down. Yep, 10 seconds left, but he's planning out in the open. It's bold. It's risky, but how does he find the timing? How does he get it down? The dart gives him away.
Looked like he wanted to stick the plant in the first instance.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then he gets off to look for the kill, which I think maybe somebody may be calling out that he has his ult to pivot, but there's just not enough time there. So he looks for a kill, and then he realizes the situation. That was the first thing I looked to after he picked up that Vandal, is if he swings over towards A, maybe there's a chance. But instead, you're playing with full information from FUT, knowing that he just planted the spike on the site, knowing that he's trying to plant it on the spike. Kiwi with an op. Posted towards B. We have slowed down significantly since that timeout from ASE. 2 players pushing their way up towards tree as well. KJ util is there. They've doubled up inside of A main for the FUT defense. And again, these aggressive info pieces, that turret. Protecting for Ada Captain, who pushed himself into 1 right now. This setup is really good. I'm looking at Yishan as well, up top mid.
Again, they just continue to hit that area of the map and find success in it.
It's funny, look at Monk, he's the passive player in this. Yishan is just walking up mid by himself. It's not the Jet. It did pop those nano swarms inside of Cat. This split is tough for Kiwi to deal with.
Surrounded, nothing. Do they check Mr. Fallen? Oh, he has to go into the nano, and he spammed through the smoke.
Last player standing.
What a hit from ASE. That's now 2 rounds where they have found value from getting an early pick aggressively in spawn.
Yeah, and remember, I was just mentioning how the early picks have been going towards FUT.
Enemy down.
These sort of mid rounds are fantastic.
Finding those tiny windows and making something happen out of them has been the calling card for ASE. That's what gotten them to this point, and that's what gets them to the 3rd round.
Slow burn on this attack side is important here for ASE. To convert on Ascent, their map pick.
Wow.
And there's no chance there for Kiwi. I mean, I've seen nasty things from him, but that's real tough when you're getting split on from market with no help. The Omen TP was way too late. Not add Captain because they were busy trying to re-clear A main and going for a flank with 50 seconds on the map. You thought, yeah, there's a chance. Still got the op up, though.
And you see the positioning, right? An adjustment. This time he's posted a mid, a bit more aggressive.
Let's get knifed, though, so they know his position. Ooh, oof. Great spam for Maj. Actually, potentially saves Kiwi there from spam as he crosses. Ult possible.
There it is. They waited for it a little bit.
Wow. 2 tags there in between the TPs. His initial hit was trying to target Life, by the way, but Bunt got stuck inside of the space that Life left.
Had a captain with a paranoia, 2 on the other side.
Got to be careful with the spam after this follow-up. He's waiting for potentially maybe that turret on top of the box. Or the drone.
There it is. Oh! What?
I told you, man, that spam is dangerous. And they're not looking for this A side even. Monk's gonna try to get the kill, but he loses the opportunity. Life dashing up mid again. Great reposition from Mr. Fallen, completely understanding, knowing that those 2 players were just in A main moments ago.
I mean, he had the potential to cut off the rotations and secure the round, but you're right. Mr. Fallen saves the day. Or at least you'd assume with how weak the 2 remaining members of ASE are. Gonna get the spike down and they'll get a little bit of extra money out of it. And the ult. Dropping the knife, repositioning, expecting pressure from Heaven, but no, he's found them all. Flash will buy some time, but the swing goes right into his death.
And they all 3 came through door, which, great idea, but they also all could have gotten flashed.
Yeah. Looked like he swung just a hair ahead of the flash.
Yeah, it's tough on the back of Gen. There's not much room to work with there. When you don't know how far they've scaled up, yeah. It's not as easy. Wow. That reposition from Mr. Fallen, I mean, that's it. And the fact that he actually hangs on against Monk has found massive success. Mr. Fallen stepped up this game. Along with Kiwi. That should, honestly, based off of the last map, be enough to carry them through this defensive side. Still 2 more to play, though. Difference between a 9-3 and a 7-5 is immense. Shark attack again. We've seen this already once in this game.
Paranoia, flash, dash. Once again, expected. Look at how far back they play, man. It's like they know when it's coming.
Tried to dart and ult Krax, who was left behind to hold top mid while Kiwi was going into it. That separates them and allows for the easy kill. Really nice adaptation from ASE. Normally, you saw them in the last time. They just walk up and go into the A side. Wow, he just crossed.
Fortunately, there were 2 there. That would have been difficult to hold by himself.
It's the constant pivots. Mr. Fallen has been on his toes in the last couple of rounds. Can he do it again? This time there's a KO ult, so he's potentially not even going to get that dart off. He just pulled it out, though. Dart coming, it's there. They can't get out the smoke.
Ad Captain's holding it. The flash, the dart, he's got to get out. He's got to get out, he can't. Mr. Fallen's going to join him. I mean, what an open.
Spike planted.
There's massive room to actually punish that. Darts up. There's a smoke on us. They've got space up close switch. Brutal, but they separate themselves from each other. I love that reaction. It's not something I see where you actually end up fighting out of top mid against the push. Oftentimes you can even add an op into that, holding top mid while the other player dashes through. Where is Artis?
He's probably chilling after the
He's waiting for his game. He's waiting for his game tomorrow, or later today against CDG. Excuse me.
Life with blades. Pushed off, and I'm not finding any value with the op. Oh, 1 second. They're gonna get out on A. It's just Mr. Fallen that's here.
Disgusting.
It's just so swift.
Spike planted.
The potential for 5 on the attacking side. Unless there's some insane play that FUT can pull off. Lockdown dropped. And there's a little bit of, I mean, there are so many options for ASE here. Mon can play outside as he is. Ishin not far off either. A can just went, oh! I respect that so much. They've gotten it down to 3v2. That nano's good. That's going to cut off space.
Oh my goodness.
As Bunt cuts off Maj's head. Cracks on the tap. Nothing found. ASE with 5 on the attacking side.
Opportunity there, but again, that holds so good from ASE. 5 on the attack. We've seen massive shifts on Ascent in recent times, but these two teams right now, ASE, they're putting it all out there. And I think they've gotten through the most difficult half. That defense from them was so good. FUT's got to put together a massive run to stay in this one.
It's such a similar conversation where we're having in map 1 at halftime. Yep. You've got to put together something big if you want to stay alive. Exact same spot. The question is, can they pull it off? Golden Boy, what do you think?
Well, I mean, for the sake of having probably the longest day we could possibly have, I'm down. You know, I'm in. I'm totally. You're busy.
I said I'm easy.
Oh, okay. Either way,
I can be busy in a
you can be busy as well. But let's go ahead and jump into this one here, and we're gonna actually have some fun with this. It's a Verizon high-speed moment of the match, and it actually came from Mr. Fallen, who had that awesome 4K in round 6, Mimi.
And this was the moment where I thought FUT was just going to run away with the half, right? They get knocked down to an eco after a few rounds in a row, get picked up for ASE. And normally on the attacking side, once you lose that momentum, it can really snowball out of control. But despite this crazy moment from Mr. Fallen, ASE in those last few rounds actually rallied back. And I think we're doing a really good job of capitalizing how little FUT is playing mid-control to find a lot of success in those splits on the last few rounds.
We know how this map is, we know how it works, we know that FUT decided to start on this defense, of course, but practically they got that pistol, and as we said, it looked like ASE started to read onto why they wanted to do it. I feel like at the beginning, Kiwi was a little bit of a final boss that they were encountering, and actually at the beginning, not really knowing how to deal with him. The moment that he stopped being a problem, ASE found a lot of good splits, a lot of good executes, and were making it really hard for FUT to fit in this.
This second half is going to come down to Mr. Fallen. He's the IGL who pushed this team over the line, found really the first competitive Turkish team internationally in a long time, and it again is going to have to come to that IGL to call a damn good attack side to close this one out and keep FUT in it. If not, China will get their first win and ASE will continue.
That's right. Well, as we get ready for this second half, I don't know if we have the answers, but we certainly have some questions. Let's go ahead and send it back over to Doug and Paula.
Thank you, Golden Boy. The benefit is that we don't have to be the ones to answer those questions. That's really on FUT to figure out. They find themselves down to, or up to, excuse me, but they go towards the attacking side now, and ASE have stuck around in this thing. They have the opportunity, once again, we've touched on this a few times, the opportunity to make history.
First Chinese team to win a series. Hasn't happened yet. Up 1 already. Capability to put FUT away in this tournament.
It's a confidence, man. Still playing with confidence. Still taking these early fights.
And they protect him too.
Yep.
Shorty in the mix.
Huge.
Oh God.
There's so much help too. But they let him both pass, and the door, I imagine, is going to be going down. They're going to be left on the other side of it. There it goes. Life's going to rotate all the way through main.
Yeah, and that's coming fast. Remember, they didn't go through main, so.
Ada Captain's ready for it, though. He swings out, he cleans him up.
Great job. Monk's still only with the shorty.
And still stuck on the other side of that door. Finally cleared.
Retakes were fantastic for them on Haven.
They're going to have to be fantastic again. Monk jumping out that dart, lights up everybody!
Oh,
a 2 for 2, but main still not cleared!
Whoa!
Kiwi just saved the day.
Oh my goodness. That switch made me think that he hit that. It's Kiwi though. So close for attacking Seoul Esports to call it even.
Last player standing. Ayakta kalan son oyuncu.
That is hero play right there from Kiwi.
Which is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Really, this entire tournament from him.
I was thinking who contributed the most to that first half. I think I agree with the desk about Mr. Fallen. He was very active on that defense.
For sure.
A lot of damage, actually.
Dude, I mean, also life, like, with a classic, no armor, decides, I'm going to go for it again.
Heck yeah. Forces a swap, too, of the weaponry. Again? Another dink?
Another dink.
I'll take his life for 3. That's crazy.
That's just insane.
They're swapping all the weapons. There's no force up here, though, for ASE. Remember, that was a factor in Haven.
I cannot use that.
They won the
Right
pistol
here.
on their defense.
Revealing area.
Smoked off instantly. Does that instill enough confidence for Cracks to walk out?
There's flashes here for Ishan.
There's a fight happening on both sides. That is just a shorty. Creeping forward.
Tried to peek with the turret, but not quite the right angle for him. And that's going to call the rotate over. Leave Monk alone.
30 seconds left.
3 classics remain. And we've seen the 3 classics, or the classics be formidable this round, but it was primarily in the hands of Life.
They're waiting for the smoke to come through. And you're right, but 3v5 with just classics is incredibly difficult.
Nigh impossible.
Still keeping things very clean here from FUT, despite the dinks, despite the damage done. That's what ASE right now are trying to target, is those players who are weak. Probably end up not doing anything in the remaining moments of the round, though. Speak about the performances in that first half. For me, ASE swapped off of relying on a lot of individual prowess. Out of Life, out of Monk, from Haven. I thought that was what they were doing. And actually relied a lot on the team play, a lot on that really, really nice defaulting that they had around the map. Finding all sorts of entries.
Ishan falls to the spike. And we turn our attention towards the next round. FUT won the pistol, they win the second, and yes, plenty of damage was dealt as we saw at the beginning, but the weapons were preserved.
Yep. Very nicely done from FUT, and they're heavily now in the lead in terms of the scoreline. ASE, with the guns that they have, this is their chance. Full light armor for them as well, by the way, completely committing to this event.
There's no one watching B, there's no one really patient about it. All a FUT are towards A.
This knife just caught at least 3.
The nano, the paranoia. There's no real way to get in, but Monk gets spammed, yeah. Ooh, Ishan is in a position to have a ton of value here. There's help from up top, the flash out on the swing. All 3 targets there, snaps onto Captain, looking for more, not able to find it. 2v2 here falls into a 2v1, and FUT on the precipice of a bonus again.
They're not recovering the spike yet. Life doesn't know, though. Now he does.
Remember how confident he's been. That confidence may have cost him his life there.
FUT with both bonuses on this map. Started out with that 4-0. Now they're doing it again. On the second half. Again, should be where you see a little bit of a comeback here from ASE, but so far not there. Opportunities abound. They had the room.
Yep.
They got the knife off, delayed the hit coming through, but that spam through the smoke from Captain.
Yeah, dropping bun at the beginning was nuts.
How the roles have reversed, right? Yeah. The smoker getting abused first on Haven by ASE in this case now. It's the attack from FUT, taking advantage of Bunt's position early. But even still, after that follow-up, they got kills coming through. You had Ishan playing around the gen. That secondary flash, in my mind, should have gotten a lot more kills. But he looked for the dart, looked for the players on site, didn't realize the player was so far back. Even if he took him out anyways. And Kiwi as well, playing very well around his teammates.
Second timeout of the map called by ASE. Down 5, and you know, you talked ball in the previous round about how they were continuing to invest in this light armor strat. And that's what allows them to have some sort of a bye in this round.
Yeah, keeps them in this. FUT going up to 11 would have been really difficult to deal with, and it's still a situation in front of him. Life has been playing this pizza position quite a lot. And the dart's deep enough that he has to break it. So right now, position known, they're going to challenge, but takes one with him.
He's just so reckless.
At the very least, yeah. That's a position you could dash out of.
Yeah, nah, I'd rather fight.
Crazy when you know they know where you're at. It's crazy.
Remember here, to go back to the first half, it was because of the light armor that ASE was able to have a bye in the 4th round, and that's what stopped them leading. Can they do it again here? Another 1-for-1. Bunt trying to anchor by himself. Nothing done. Krax has been so good this map.
One of the ones who struggled a little bit against EG. Now definitely having a good game, and Shifamai out the smoke. Give space for Monk to find another. But the 1-for-1s are not quite enough.
They just add up to another round for FUT. That's 4 now.
The crazy thing is, yeah, 4 in a row, but ASE still might be able to put together another bye. Because they've got knives in live sand. See what they choose to do. They were all hovering around 3.2K. And it's going to be just Sheriffs. So they're playing almost for OT, but definitely a dangerous one. Life continuing to play in mid. There's no variation here. Mimi was talking about this on the desk. They start to run out of ideas, run out of fuel. That's what happened against DRX. We saw multiple instances where they go for the same round over and over, and Life again gets picked out of mid with no value. And everybody's peeking by themselves.
Yep.
They have a timeout to talk about this.
The call out of the timeout was, we're just going to solo fight.
Okay.
And the biggest key to success for ASE in this round was the knives, and they're gone.
This is getting ridiculous. Yeah, they're just all going one by one. And it might honestly win the round.
We're going to see an entire round of just 1v1s. It's still possible. Monk has upgraded a weapon here.
Okay, they're regrouping.
There goes that upgraded weapon.
There it is.
This time in the hands of Bunt. Door in his face. Has to clear that out before even consider getting the retake.
This was one of the players with light armor. There's only 3 of them.
Cover going out.
There's still duels possible. But they did regroup into A. You heard the dash in that direction. But he has to deal with the crossfire from A main and down in dark. What?
Early. Almost ahead of the tap.
Yeah, he was. He started tapping away before that.
Match point.
Kiwi with 4, FUT with map point. 5 rounds in a row on the attacking side. I mean, even this, like, I understand it was a light buy, and really, you kind of were going to ride or die off of Life's knives. But as soon as you see the dart come through, doesn't really play off of anything. He just goes up, takes the fight.
Yep. I mean, it's nice. It's a great attempt.
Yeah.
So many Jets go for that because the Sova's constantly playing out from there.
Get out of my way.
That could have turned everything. Fast flash. Paranoia in. Monk hiding inside of logs. They get the lockdown, and how is that a shot?
I don't know if he was lit up by a dart or a drone or something.
Oh, Life.
Couldn't have been for long.
Where are you going, man?
We're getting a bit silly here.
This dude's running into a lockdown.
Into a lockdown, op in hand, trying to make a play by himself.
Nowhere to run.
And I think he just played himself into a Lotus.
One enemy remaining.
Kiwi flash, Mr. Fallen gets a kill, Bunt's left alone, and it's a Prime Gaming Flawless to close it out, tie us up at 1-1.
Great recovery out of FUT Esports. Watch the final round one more time. It was clean from FUT.
He was lit up. Closed out one more time. We got another look at the Prime Gaming Flawless as FUT are able to take down ASE in really beautiful fashion there. And yeah, there was some goofiness out of ASE at
Definitely,
the end.
definitely.
At
That
the end of
defensive
that
side, I
round.
mean, it was whack. They didn't do anything. They did the same thing over and over, live peeking mid. I mean, it was every single round. The desk, again, mentioned this exact thing about the playstyle from ASE. And it's showing itself as a problem again. This was their map pick. Wasn't one that they played much. When they qualified up into this point, but maybe you can see why. It's funny that the attack side was where they ended up having a few more ideas, but there were so many nice ones on defense on Haven. And Kiwi finally coming alive. Mr. Fallen as well. That defense from him was really, really good. Dealing with, and really, I mean, he had a read. He had an understanding of how these guys were playing, especially with the info that his teammates were getting. A lot of times he was making the perfect play. So credit to him. He's going to have to continue that into Lotus because it's a map where you can definitely have the same sort of working about from ASE, but it's FUT's playground. It was surprising that EG even took it against them in that last series.
I don't know that anyone expected that. You're absolutely right. And off of the loss that ASE just took, it seemed like they were kind of clueless on the attacking side. Maybe you find a little bit more on Lotus, but we'll see whether or not that is the case. We're tied at 1 apiece. Elimination on the line, and Lotus to close us out. We'll be right back.